Hello lovelies! I am very excited to be discussing with you today the recent Chavarria show, the Willy Chavarria show that just took place at Paris Fashion Week. And I feel like this show was very phenomenal in the truest sense of that word, that in a way that like a lot of people have a lot to say about it, and yet still there's so much that goes unsaid. And so I really just wanted to take a second and really talk about the things that were brought forth and brought in front of us in such a artful, lovely, violent way. Like, I feel like Willy Chavarria really chose violence with this collection in the best way possible, in the best way that an artist is supposed to. And I would love to really see more artists using their art to speak out and really validate the voices of not only their people, but like everyone that has to deal with the state of the world at this moment. I think that really art is supposed to encapsulate what it's like to live and feel and connect in the era that it was made. And I love the way that this collection truly does that. And so I'm excited to go over this. Let's get into it. So today we will be discussing Willy Chavarria's Tarántula collection for Paris Fashion Week Fall Winter. It was a menswear collection. He did have quite a few really ball-busting women's looks in there as well. Usually with these things, I like to discuss, I like to focus more on the clothes and what the character, what the clothes say about the character that would wear it, the wardrobe that would include that, and just like the vibe that the clothes would bring to that person's life. However, I feel with such a loaded collection, one should definitely be left to come to their own opinion about this collection. So I won't really be discussing much of that with this collection. But I did want to discuss the references that were brought to the table, the culture that he pulled from, his culture, and just the ingenuity and the craft of really discussing what needs to be through his craft. I loved how tastefully it was done here. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. The Willy Chavarria show came to gag your respectability politics. This line had so much to offer Paris Fashion Week culturally and in a way that's kind of hard to put words to. The collection plays on like various motifs from a community built on so much of a rich culture, but has also been marginalized and now targeted by ICE raids in their own home. And for those of you who don't know or are not from like the US or are unaware of like what's going on right now, ICE is the federal bureau that's in charge of basically deportations and putting refugees and immigrants into detainment. So essentially they go around to people's houses or public places and they inquire about whether somebody has citizenship to be here, and if you don't, if you cannot provide proof, or if you at this point even refuse to present proof, you will most likely be detained. It's very scary right now. So with dramatic features such as swallowtail collars, which bring to mind movies like Scarface, a movie that's literally about a man that literally was given a green card for assassinating a Cuban official and sought money and power, and boxy business suits in full plaid prints. this being an allusion to the streetwear traditionally associated with gang culture and violence. From my analysis, it feels like Chavarria meant to say by this that the same people being discounted as nothing but quote-unquote criminals and rapists by a 34-count convicted criminal and rapist are the same people taking care of business at home, growing our crops, bringing our country global market value, and actually taking care of our communities, down to even our healthcare providers. These people fit all their pride, fear, and resourcefulness into pencil skirts every morning to staple papers for people who don't even value them. They're janitors, engineers, and mechanics doing honest work, like henceforth the velvet blue jumpsuit and keychain like a mechanic or engineer would wear. And constantly serving, might I add, like left no crumbs with this look. The reality is, as far as social currency, they are discounted for looking like this, having face tattoos and wearing tracksuits like it was popular to in the 80s street fashion. Or this. We all know this is Tolo attire, we all know. Or this, which is just the evolved version of the last look with the oversized bomber jacket to hide any heat you might be packing, or just give some extra padding. We all got that one uncle, and we discount them until it's profitable enough or less sinister looking enough to be on runways. Like these puffy sleeves and accordion pleats are exactly the type of take on a tracksuit I would expect to be on a runway by any design house under Kering or LVMH to pander to a non-POC audience. Next, we should talk about how in this collection, Chavarria brings to attention a culture so deeply rooted in Christianity, a religion also forced upon them by another oppressor, but that is for another discussion. With shades of velvet as deep red as the blood of Jesus and rosaries in hand, Chavarria calls to attention that just as the oppressor leans on the Bible to gain supporters in their conquest, his people too show up every Sunday in their Sunday's best. Here were my favorite looks from this portion of the show. I think this coral color in velvet is gorgeous. He's included this pencil skirt look with a gridded, more tailored take on a bowler shirt, which is also a clothing staple you would see on the block. But I personally love a good bowler shirt as they have this crisp uniform feel to them, but also allow for fun to be had with styling. Just as the name suggests, I mean, bowling is so fun. I thought the lantern sleeves on this leather jacket was also an interesting choice, and I love the slightly barreled straight cut that he's done to most of the pants in this collection. But I digress. Chavarria having chosen to have this show in a church and casting so many amazing people who have been stewards for change and social justice, such as India Moore, just one example, who speaks out about trans, Black, and Indigenous rights, has such a nice way through design and style of addressing this religious crusade against his people. And anyways, in the eyes of the God their persecutor is claiming, we are all respectable. We all have to answer for our own wrongdoings. And the most deadliest of sins is falling to wrath and greed and persecuting God's people as if you yourself were God. Looking at this show, I feel like he also calls into question, like, who we think is safe when it comes to alienation. This fit is someone you'd probably envision teaching your children, working on filing documents in a law office, property management. This person could work in a Fashion Nova logistics factory, like the people I myself have seen there. Of course, the gloves and loafers are great for keeping this fashion. This person could take care of racing horses the billionaires like to bet on for fun, you know? And this person could work in fashion. If you're comfortable right now, I think what he's trying to get across is you really shouldn't be. You really shouldn't be. Furthermore, something else I think should really be discussed more is his approach to design. He prides himself on designing for real people. This means real lifestyles, not just archetypes, and real bodies, not just sample sizes for mannequins that the fashion industry has normalized. But I'll let him speak for himself if the silhouettes that you've seen in this collection have not completely opened your eyes to this.
I'm Willy Chavarria. Welcome to Paris. I design for everybody. I really like to take consideration of people who are normally not designed for, so especially people of color, immigrants, queer people, people who are not necessarily skinny, real people. So during the design process, we really our like mood boards, our people boards are real people, and I include that in my casting as well.
All in all, I love this collection down and have so much reverence for the designer, artist, that is Willy Chavarria. Willy Chavarria. Do you see? I can say it. Willy Chavarria. My goodness.